At Mom's funeral, Dad brought his illegitimate son home. They were practically celebrating, and he told me to call the boy brother. Victoria Ashworth, the award-winning actress I'd bankrolled, also hit the headlines tangled up with him in a hot tub. At a high society selection banquet meant for me, he showed up with Victoria on his arm, flashing $1,000,000 matching rings, and boasted loudly, "Younger brother, Dad is mine, your girlfriend is mine, and the title of eldest young master of the Clark family is mine too." Victoria added coolly, "I've been secretly in love with Ethan for 10 years. Sincere, I never liked you. Let's break up." I laughed. Just 1/10 of my assets? What right did she have to break up with me? Chapter 1. After I threw him out, Ethan Palmer, unwilling to give up, barged into Mom's memorial hall again. He stood before me, dressed in mourning clothes, and said with misplaced propriety, "Younger brother, I know you're heartbroken, but your mom has been gone for 49 days. You need to move on. Come out, I want to talk." Pathetic. I saw right through his foolishness. This was the illegitimate son Desmond Palmer had insisted on formally recognizing with a celebratory feast on the day of my mother's funeral. The funniest part? Ethan was a year older than me. I had just stood up when Mr. Bates, the butler, rushed in, blocking Ethan and apologizing profusely to me. "Mr. Clark, he doesn't understand the rules yet. I'll take him out immediately." Wanting my mother to rest in peace, I walked out of the memorial hall. Ethan shook off the butler and followed me closely. Reaching the poolside, I stepped onto the raised edge, looking down at him. "Speak." Ethan nervously clutched the hem of his shirt, then stepped up onto the edge too, trying to meet my gaze levelly. "Younger brother, Dad only ever loved my mother. Marrying your mom was forced upon him. Now that your mom is gone, I'm back in the Clark family. I'm older than you, so I should be the eldest young master. You've had the title for 22 years, you should be content. Make sure you tell the butler and the staff to address me correctly. Don't cause trouble, understand?" I laughed. Did he really not know that Desmond Palmer had married into the family wealth? Did he think he could just waltz in and replace me, without even checking if Desmond himself had any real power over me? Realizing the true extent of his naivete, I found the whole situation utterly tedious. I couldn't be bothered dealing with him anymore. I kicked him straight into the pool. Splash Ethan flailed in the water, screaming and struggling. "Sincere Clark, how dare you do this to me? Dad won't let you get away with this. Pull me up, and I'll forgive you." I walked away without a backward glance. I had mourned my mother for 49 days. It was time to start living again. My thoughts turned to Victoria Ashworth, the actress I had single-handedly propelled to stardom. When I was 10, Mom took me to an orphanage to sponsor underprivileged children. I picked 10 little girls, all as beautiful as dolls. Victoria was one of them. 2 years ago, a video of her auditioning for the role of a young empress surfaced. I liked her look, made my move, and poured money into making her my exclusive plaything. I hadn't paid her much attention recently. I wondered if she had been behaving. On the way to visit Victoria on set, I received an angry call from Desmond. "Sincere Clark, are you trying to kill your brother? Know your limits." "I don't have a brother," I sneered. "And I wouldn't mind not having a father either," Desmond snapped, losing his composure. "You bastard," I ignored him and hung up. At Mom's funeral, Desmond bringing his illegitimate son home. Carrying on inappropriately, his intentions were obvious. I wanted Mom to depart peacefully, so I hadn't dealt with these two clowns then. It seemed I had been too lenient. I pulled the car over, made an international call, and then continued driving towards Victoria's location. Arriving at the film studio, I learned they had finished shooting. There was a wrap party tonight. Truthfully, Victoria had been a decent toy, beautiful, presentable, and versatile. I felt a slight pang of reluctance. I opened my phone and confirmed she hadn't contacted me once in 49 days. A smirk touched my lips. Interesting. Chapter 2. At 7 p.m. sharp, I appeared at the bustling wrap party. My eyes immediately found Ethan, meticulously dressed. He wore a Samuel Wang haute couture suit, a brand new Patek Philippe watch on his wrist. No trace of the pathetic state he was in after I pushed him into the pool earlier that day. And there was Victoria Ashworth kneeling on one knee, taking off his shoe, gently massaging his slightly reddened ankle. Ethan lowered his gaze slightly, the tips of his ears flushing red. They looked sickeningly devoted. 2 crew members nearby were gossiping. I always thought actress Ashworth was aloof, uninterested in men. I never expected her to be so gentle and caring towards her boyfriend. What do you know? He's the eldest young master of the Clark family. See that designer suit? Looks expensive, right? But he probably wears it once and throws it away. Actress Ashworth doesn't seem like someone who'd bow down for money. Obviously not the eldest young master is so handsome and talented. They're a perfect match. It must be true love. As I walked past, one of the crew members stopped me. This is the wrap party for Femme Fatale. You're not an actor or crew. How did you get in? I looked towards Victoria. I'm looking for her. The other crew member immediately said with disgust, "Are you some stalker or obsessed fan of actress Ashworth? Go, you're not welcome here." Victoria Ashworth. My voice cut through the crowd, ringing out clearly. The noisy venue fell silent for a moment. Chapter 3. Victoria dropped Ethan's foot, flustered, staring at me in disbelief. Ethan was instantly irritated. He quickly put his shoe back on, took her arm, and forced her to walk towards me with him. Perhaps used to submitting at my feet, Victoria didn't dare meet my eyes directly. Ethan, however, flashed their matching rings, openly declaring war. Younger brother, Dad is mine, your girlfriend is mine, and the title of eldest young master of the Clark family is mine too. Forgot to tell you, Victoria was mine long ago. We've been together for years. In a few days, I'm taking her home to meet Dad. We're getting married. I laughed bitterly at myself. Victoria had shot to fame with that young Empress audition. I'd backed her for years, letting her shamelessly use my resources to climb the ladder. Yet she always deflected my proposals. She always said, "Wait a little longer, wait until I'm an international superstar, then I'll propose to you on a global live broadcast." I actually believed such a ridiculous excuse. Ethan leaned in smugly, whispering provocatively, "Upset already?" "Sincere Clark, this is just the beginning. I'll make everyone remember that I am the eldest young master of the Clark family, and you're not even fit to polish my shoes." "Rip." I abruptly tore his suit jacket. He shrieked, trying to protect the fabric. "Younger brother, why did you tear my clothes? This is haute couture. It's priceless." I chuckled lightly. I tore the suit the brand sent me. "What's the problem?" Terrified I would expose him for wearing my clothes and watch in public, he squeezed out tears, feigning innocence. "Younger brother, earlier today you pushed me into the pool. And now you're harassing me at such an important event. We're brothers, not enemies." His voice trembled, tears welling up but not falling. I remained unmoved, but Victoria's heart clearly ached for him. She draped her shawl over Ethan's shoulders and frowned at me, questioning, "Sincere Clark, do you have to push Ethan to his death?" I raised an eyebrow, smiling faintly. How is taking back what belongs to me from the son of the other woman considered pushing him to his death? Or is it because I was mourning my mother and couldn't lavish you with pleasure, so you found a gigolo to entertain you? Victoria stated seriously, "Ethan is not the son of the other woman, not a gigolo, and certainly not a plaything to entertain me. He's the man I've secretly loved for 10 years, and my official boyfriend for 3. I looked at her, my smile ambiguous. "And what about me?" She hesitated. Ethan immediately squeezed her hand. She gripped his hand back firmly, looked up and answered me. "You were just a mistake. Sincere Clark, let's end this." I enunciated each word slowly. "You say I was a mistake?" For her sake, I hadn't demanded she publicly acknowledge my role in her life. But it was an open secret in our circle. I poured money and resources into promoting her, my plaything. Plenty of spoiled heirs mocked me for spending my fortune on a gold digger. And now, she dared to call me her mistake. The rap party had long ground to a halt. Everyone present was watching me, Ethan, and Victoria with speculative eyes. Perhaps for the sake of appearances, or perhaps truly wanting to break free from me and marry Ethan. Victoria straightened her spine, sincere. "Clark, I thank you for sponsoring me 12 years ago, and even more for funding my path in the entertainment industry all these years. Don't worry, I will repay these debts of gratitude and favor, but I cannot give myself back to you. I love Ethan, and I want to marry him. Please stop harassing me, and more importantly, stop targeting Ethan. Let us go." She seemed to forget without me she wouldn't be where she is today. She knew even less, even if she were an actress worth billions. Offending me meant losing everything. Thinking about the amusement to come, I genuinely smiled. Chapter 4. "Fine," I said softly. Hearing this, Ethan looked up at me, undisguised shock on his face. Victoria's expression was also complex. She seemed unable to believe I would let her go so quickly. In fact, I would. She was just a plaything. When I liked her, I could spare no expense to make her famous, do anything foolish to please her. When I realized she wasn't worthy, I would immediately cut off my feelings and probably schedule a full medical checkup. I lifted Ethan's falsely handsome face. "Since you enjoy picking up trash so much, she's all yours." Victoria flushed with anger and shame. I ignored her and surveyed the room. Spotting a more interesting prospect, a smile played on my lips as I announced loudly, "I am Sincere Clark, the eldest young master of the Clark family. On behalf of Season Enterprises, I am terminating all cooperation with Victoria Ashworth. Is anyone here interested in taking over her resources? I have only one condition. Slap Victoria Ashworth 10 times. Victoria stared at me, her expression unreadable. Ethan went berserk. "Sincere Clark, what right do you have to represent Season Enterprises? Why are you doing this to Victoria?" He truly had been raised to be naive and foolish, arrogant and reckless. I ignored him, focusing on my chosen prospects. Ethan lunged forward to hit me but was intercepted by Victoria. She confronted me, eyes red. "Sincere Clark, do you have to make such a scene?" I remained indifferent. "I'm bored with you. I need to find new prey. You didn't think you were irreplaceable, did you?" Humiliated, Victoria clenched her fists, about to say more. I cut her off, smiling at the prospects. "You have 3 seconds left." Me, the young woman who stepped forward, had striking features. Standing next to Victoria, her sheer youthful radiance instantly outshone the actress. I recognized her as the unfavored daughter of the Shaw family. Scarlett Shaw walked up to me, shrugged off her jacket, revealing a sexy figure wrapped in a small camisole, perfectly proportioned, exactly my type. I wanted to kiss her. She met my gaze, her eyes bold and uninhibited. "Mr. Clark, please inspect the goods." Chapter 5. "Satisfied," I said. "Good." Without putting her jacket back on, she turned and slapped Victoria hard across the face. She didn't stop until Victoria collapsed, unable to get up. Then, while putting her jacket back on, she apologized to Victoria. "Actress Ashworth, I apologize. I want to get ahead. Hitting you wasn't personal. The opportunities you don't cherish, plenty of others are fighting for." Extremely pleased, I stroked her flushed cheek. "You don't have much say in the Shaw family, do you? Sent here to invest in this trashy production. I, representing Season Enterprises, will partner with you. A $10 billion project. Is that enough?" Scarlett Shaw was quick on the uptake. "Thank you, Mr. Clark." Seeing Scarlett gain tangible benefits, others stirred with interest. I turned no one away. That night, Victoria was slapped until she passed out. Ethan, trying to protect her, also took some blows. And I took Scarlett Shaw to a hotel. She shed her camisole dress, sat on my lap, her clear eyes misty like water vapor reflecting me. Her tone was suggestive. "Mr. Clark, can I replace Victoria Ashworth?" She didn't even need me to offer help in her family power struggle. She actively sought the position. I kissed her earlobe. She proved through her actions that she was a far better plaything. Chapter 6. I never looked back. I deleted all of Victoria's contact information and rescinded all resources and hidden support Season Enterprises had provided her. When people in our circle tried to sabotage her to curry favor with me, I never interfered. I started appearing everywhere with Scarlett Shaw, publicly declaring that Victoria Ashworth was ancient history. Ethan Palmer, likely intimidated by my ruthlessness, lay low for a long time, until Valentine's Day, when Desmond Palmer insisted I come home for dinner with Ethan, demanding I acknowledge this unwanted older brother. Originally, I'd planned to use the festive atmosphere to further explore Scarlett's dancing skills, but the amusement offered by Desmond and Ethan was more appealing. So I canceled my date with Scarlett and returned to the mansion on time. Unsurprisingly, Victoria was there, her hands and feet bandaged. When our eyes met, hers held a look full of affection, but I ignored it completely. I watched coldly as Ethan deferentially poured tea for Desmond, then casually mentioned, "Dad, it's such a shame Victoria isn't in any of the major holiday releases this year." Desmond replied non-committally, "With Victoria's talent and popularity, it's only a matter of time." Ethan pleaded, "Dad, could you maybe pull some strings, get Victoria some top film resources?" It seemed he genuinely believed getting top-tier movie roles for Victoria was merely a matter of Desmond saying the word. But he didn't know Desmond's original surname was Lee, and he had begged my mother to let him change it to Clark. Before Mom died, she left everything Clark related to me. Forget the film industry, Desmond had zero say even within the Clark household. "He can't," I answered for Desmond. Ethan retorted angrily, "What's it got to do with you?" I scanned him contemptuously from head to toe. "Who gave you permission to wear my clothes?" Desmond roared at me, "Sincere Clark. Show some respect. Ethan is your older brother. Forget using your things. He has a share in everything the Clark family owns." I wrinkled my nose in disgust. Perhaps Ethan didn't even need to be schemed against. He would naturally inherit Desmond's foolish and naive genes. Thinking that this man was my biological father made me wish I could have a do-over. Annoyed, I turned and instructed Mr. Bates, "Throw out all my clothes, then use Desmond's dividends to buy me new ones." "Yes, Mr. Clark." Mr. Bates relayed the order to the maids, and they immediately set to work. Desmond flew into another impotent rage. "Sincere Clark, how dare you?" Ethan looked utterly confused, while Victoria watched with a searching expression. I ignored Desmond, walked to the dining table, and Mr. Bates instantly pulled out my chair. After sitting down, I saw the dozen or so dishes on the table and instantly lost my appetite. I launched a full verbal assault on Ethan. "Why are you just like your mother, always trying to win people over with cooking? Though your mother was different, she wasn't shy in bed either." Sincere Clark Desmond was thoroughly enraged. He rushed over and slapped me hard across the face. He moved so fast, Mr. Bates couldn't intervene in time. The blow made my lip bleed, but my smile didn't falter. "Desmond Palmer, are you looking to die?" Desmond instantly panicked. "Who told you to insult Ethan's mother?" Crash. I grabbed a chair and slammed it down hard onto the table laden with food. In an instant, the dining room was chaos, covered in food and soup. Ethan couldn't dodge in time and was splattered with meat, vegetables, and hot soup. He screamed and yelled, losing all composure. But Desmond didn't dare try to stop me this time. Mr. Bates and the maids were all accustomed to this, except for Victoria. She walked up to me, attempting to grab my wrist. "Sincere Clark, you always do whatever you want, without considering anyone else's feelings. Ethan is still your brother. Do you have to make things so ugly?" I scoffed. "In what capacity are you speaking to me? Former plaything, illegitimate son's fiancée, has-been actress?" Lately, the only opportunities she could get were scraps. She should have realized my influence in the entertainment world by now. Thus, she stiffened and took 2 steps back, not daring to provoke me further. Ethan shook the filth off himself and hugged her, fanning the flames. "Victoria, after all, you and my younger brother had something. He can't let go. Targeting you and taking it out on me is understandable." I cut him off. "I haven't failed to let go, but I am angry. Ethan Palmer, do you know the consequences of my anger?" I took the handkerchief a maid handed me and wiped the blood from my lip. Ethan still believed Desmond was the master of the Clark family. He stuck his neck out defiantly. What consequences could there be? I spoke slowly, deliberately. I want one of your hands. Desmond panicked. Sincere Clark, don't do anything rash. I gave him a chilling smile. Mom knew the moment you cheated. Do you know why she still let you stay in the Clark family, gave you property, gave you shares in the company? Wait until I deliver Ethan's right hand to you, then I'll tell you the truth. Chapter 7. As I spoke, my gaze fell on Ethan's long fingers. In the surveillance footage I'd seen, Desmond had held those hands, touched the piano and guitar Mom loved, handled my collection of antiques and calligraphy, and on that hand rested one of the expensive matching rings. The moment I said I wanted Ethan's hand, Mr. Bates signaled the bodyguards. Within moments, several guards surrounded Ethan, one wielding an axe. Ethan finally felt real fear, crying and wailing without any semblance of dignity. Victoria and Desmond both tried to protect him, but it was futile. Ethan's right hand was severed. Desmond, pitying Ethan, looked at me with deep loathing. I met his gaze and answered nonchalantly, "Mom let me keep you around because she thought I might get bored, so I could slowly toy with you and your son. The shares and property Mom gave you are just a drop in the ocean of the Clark fortune. Besides, I can take them back any time. Desmond Palmer, maybe life has been too comfortable for you lately, making you forget Mom was known in our circle for being ruthless and decisive. If you want to continue living lavishly in your next life, then don't fucking piss me off." Desmond instantly deflated. Selfish, as always. Finding it all boring, I instructed Mr. Bates, "Keep an eye on Desmond Palmer. Throw the irrelevant people out." "Yes, sir." From then on, Ethan Palmer would have no further connection to the Clark family. Ethan was alive because my mother showed mercy. Ethan was raised naive and foolish because my mother feared an illegitimate son might threaten my position. My mother was a transmigrator from another world, a system user whose mission was to capture Desmond Palmer. The original owner of her body, an elite heiress, was decisive in business but deeply infatuated with the poor scholar Desmond. When Mom transmigrated, she had to continue pursuing Desmond. She treated him exceptionally well, but he only ever schemed against her. He outwardly resented her for forcefully taking him, while secretly plotting to seize her wealth and replace her. Mom was wary of him, occasionally tossing him scraps, grooming him into a useless dependent. She only wanted to complete her mission and return to her original world, so she didn't care about him cheating with his first love, even allowing the first love to give birth to Ethan. But Desmond's first love was restless, constantly inciting Desmond to make trouble. After tolerating it a few times, Mom arranged for her to die in an accident and sent Ethan to an orphanage, ensuring he was raised to be naive and foolish. Desmond never knew what Mom did to that mother and son. He basked in the arrogant belief that Mom couldn't live without him, simultaneously complaining about her while greedily spending her money. Under Mom's long-term act, Desmond finally developed genuine feelings for her. At that point, Mom unhesitatingly chose to return to her original world. Her death was, in fact, a rebirth, and my mourning period was also my long farewell to her. Chapter 8. I could accept her choice. Just as Ethan inherited Desmond's foolish genes, I inherited my mother's decisiveness and cool temperament. Mom wasn't actually exceptionally good to me. She was strict, stingy with gentle maternal affection, but I knew she loved me. Desmond, however, did not love me. My childhood was always overshadowed, until Desmond took me to the orphanage, intending to sponsor Ethan, but I instead chose 10 exquisite, beautiful girls. I treated them like toys, and discovered the joy of amusement. Victoria had always been the most satisfactory. As it turned out, she was also the greediest. Fortunately, I had grown tired of her anyway, seen through it all. Victoria would never again deceive me out of even a shred of concern. I gave everything I had once given Victoria to Scarlett Shaw. If Scarlett served me well, I could even help her seize her family's company, grooming her into an international star far more valuable than Victoria ever was. I had money, influence, and power. If I wished, I could give my toys the very best. Conversely, I could also ensure Victoria couldn't survive in our circle. Remembering how she repeatedly sided with Ethan, I would show her no mercy. Chapter 9. At the charity banquet, I arrived with Scarlett Shaw. Because she was indeed straightforward, obedient, soft-bodied, and intelligent, a standard femme fatale who met all my requirements. As I entered the charity gala with Scarlett on my arm, I saw Victoria and Ethan. Desmond, under my threat, had still given Ethan an apartment. This, combined with a prosthetic hand, seemed to have made Ethan forget his pain, and he was starting to act arrogant again. I reduced Desmond's dividend allowance. Once he realized he couldn't afford his lifestyle, he'd learned to behave completely. Ethan must have hated me intensely. Even though Victoria clearly wanted to avoid me, he dragged her over. He boasted triumphantly, "Younger brother, did you think a woman bought with money would have any real feelings for you? I'm different. Victoria's marrying me soon and she only loves me. Furthermore, Dad had me attend this charity gala as his sole son and heir. You're not going to get jealous and angry again, are you?" I couldn't even be bothered to tell him I had no desire for Trash's affection. I simply kept Scarlett on my arm and proceeded towards the inner hall, personally escorted by the host, Robert Shaw. Unable to stand being ignored, Ethan chased after us in rage. "Sincere Clark, how can you be so shameless, barely broken up with Victoria, and already found another woman? Were you seeing others even when you were with Victoria?" "You're truly despicable," I replied calmly. "The person you're describing sounds suspiciously like yourself. Smash." Before my words faded, Scarlett grabbed a bottle of red wine and smashed it over Ethan's head. Glass shards and red liquid flew everywhere. Afterward, she put on a pitiful act. "Oh dear, I have a condition. When I see lowlifes, my hand just slips. You won't hold it against me, will you?" This commotion made the disheveled Ethan the center of attention. Victoria, realizing something, quietly let go of his hand. Ethan, however, thought he could use this to play the victim and drag me down with him. He wiped his face carelessly, fighting back tears, speaking with forced resilience. "Sincere Clark, you cut off your own brother's hand for no reason, seized your own father's assets and imprisoned him, using your dirty money to force people into being your pets without restraint. Sincere Clark, you're so evil. You belong in jail, even if the law can't punish you. I will let everyone here know your true colors." The banquet hall was utterly silent, echoing with Ethan's heart-wrenching accusations. Yet no one looked at me strangely. Instead, meaningful glances were directed at him. Ethan was utterly bewildered, crying out in collapse, "Did I say something wrong? Why are you all looking at me?" Just then, the host's wife, Margaret Shaw, approached and splashed a basin of cold water on him. Ethan shrieked. Mrs. Shaw ignored him, instead addressing me reproachfully. "Mr. Clark, can't you manage your own household? How can you let an illegitimate son bark at the master like this? Such things would never be allowed in my house." This sharp rebuke left Ethan utterly humiliated. I smiled faintly, nonchalantly. My apologies for the scene. The next second, Robert Shaw, beads of cold sweat on his forehead, signaled his security guards. Immediately, 2 guards rushed towards Ethan, flanking him to escort him out. Despite Ethan's screams and cries, the 2 guards didn't slow their pace. Chapter 10. Victoria, who had been playing dead, suddenly snapped at me. "Sincere Clark, you're insane. Do you have to drive Ethan to his death? Tell them to release Ethan." "Ah." Before she could finish, Scarlett kicked her to the ground. "Miss Ashworth, please don't speak to my fiancé like that. Otherwise, you might anger me." I watched coldly as Scarlett kicked and hit Victoria. Robert Shaw quickly signaled the musicians to resume playing, while Margaret Shaw steered the conversation among the wives. Everyone pretended not to see Victoria being beaten or Ethan being dragged away. I bent down, warning her one last time. "Victoria Ashworth, remember, you are the dog I discarded. You've felt the downgrade in resources, haven't you? If you don't want to end up begging, stay out of my sight. Sincere." Victoria called my name tremblingly, seemingly wanting to plead. Scarlett gave her no chance, kicking her heart again. I didn't intervene. Why would I reprimand my currently favored new stunner for the sake of a rotten former plaything? Ethan became the laughingstock of the elite circle. Desmond had always been a joke in society and couldn't help him at all. Victoria thought Ethan was the eldest young master, believing choosing him her true love wouldn't negatively impact her status. But she was wrong. How could an illegitimate son, who couldn't even be presented in polite society, and a fool at that, ever establish a firm footing? Furthermore, because I implicitly allowed Scarlett to beat Victoria, she completely lost any connection to my resources or protection. She couldn't survive in the entertainment industry anymore, but her pride was immense. For the sake of resources, she finally decided to swallow her pride before me. She wanted to see me. Instead, I invited her to my engagement party with Scarlett Shaw. My engagement to Scarlett was more about partnership than true love. Scarlett wanted my help to seize control of her family's business, offering me 50% of the Shaw Group's shares in return. I accepted with pleasure. Chapter 11. After the engagement was set, Scarlett found various ways to please me. One day, while Scarlett was keeping me company playing a board game, Victoria suddenly burst in. Seeing Victoria's unwelcome face, I immediately popped a piece of candy into my mouth and passed it to Scarlett's lips. Scarlett played along. Victoria's expression turned ugly, but she actually stood there obediently, waiting. Once the last bit of sweetness dissolved, I put my arm around Scarlett and looked at Victoria with a half smile. Yes? A few days prior, with Desmond's tacit permission, I had sent Ethan Palmer to India, confiscating his phone and bank cards. Ethan must have been miserable. I had no intention of ever seeing him again. Just seeing Victoria reminded me. Not long ago, she had publicly declared her 10-year secret love for Ethan. Now, without even asking about Ethan's whereabouts, she knelt and confessed. Sincere, I know I was wrong. I want to come back to you. Can I? Seeing her so spineless infuriated me. The more pathetic she became, the more it proved my previous misjudgment. I tilted my wine glass, pouring the red wine over her. Get out. Chapter 12. That night, Scarlett was jealous and particularly demanding. After enjoying myself sufficiently, I held her face. All right now, she looked aggrieved. Do you just see me as Victoria's replacement? How could I said. Her eyes lifted. So I can do whatever I want to her? I agreed readily. Of course. Although I wouldn't settle down for this one woman, for now she satisfied me. As long as she remained obedient, actually marrying her wouldn't be a big deal. Later, Victoria disappeared from my life. One day, Scarlett suddenly mentioned she had sent Victoria to India to join Ethan. She seemed a little afraid I'd be angry. I smiled, kissed her, and gave her a major project. All the servants Desmond had managed to bribe were dismissed. I had Mr. Bates hire new ones, using Desmond's reduced dividends to pay for them. Desmond threw tantrums, but it was useless. Later, using a few simple maneuvers, I absorbed his remaining shares in Season Enterprises. Seeing that only property remained under his name, he finally lost all nerve to cause trouble and stayed quietly in the mansion for his retirement. My mother, the transmigrator, was forced to endure Desmond's infidelity and still allow him a life of luxury and prestige. But I am not her. I got revenge for my childhood self, and I got revenge for my mother. From now on, no more trash would disrupt my mood.